Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us for another Screening News Network chat. Today, we're joined by our friend Catherine Mattice-Zundel, the president of Civility Partners, and she's going to talk to us about all the interesting situations you might come across now that we are all working remotely. Catherine, it's great to see you.
Great to see you. Been a while. It's nice to do this with you.
Fantastic. All right. Well, I can see that you are working remotely, as am I. And I'm curious, have you heard from any of your clients so far about some of the challenges they're facing?
Definitely. Everybody's trying to figure out the best way to work remotely. We've got several clients who weren't doing remote work at all and almost forbade it, before. And now all of a sudden the entire workforce is at home. And I'm hearing from some of my clients' employees kind of saying, I'm feeling lost or anxious about what's happening. This is hard. What do I do? So yeah, everybody's on edge.
Well, let's start there then. What do you say to those people who say they're on edge and they're anxious? Is there anything you can say to make them feel better?
Well, resilient people are good at creating a plan for themselves and then sort of executing that plan. And so it's all about the baby steps. So, those employees who are feeling really nervous and anxious about things, I talk to them about, you still need to get up, shower, do your makeup, kind of get your routine, whatever you were doing before, do it now still, even though you're at home, to help sort of create the idea that you're still normal. Things are still normal, even though you're at home. So that's a big piece, is just kind of getting up so that you feel refreshed in the morning rather than working in your PJs all day. Still focusing on exercise and connection is the other important piece of advice. The video chats, you got to be doing those.
Why are those so important?
Well, humans by nature are, we connect. By nature, we're social creatures. And I have one client, for example, that's really still using the phone. And that is a concern for me, because we do need to connect, and you just miss so much on a phone call. And if you're not seeing each other every day, you've got to use the video chats. It's just important for that connection.
One of the questions I had for you was, how do you deal with miscommunications in a situation like this? Is the virtual chat a help, or can that make it harder?
I think it's important. Yeah. So, a lot of miscommunication is going to happen over email, or if you're using some sort of chat room to interact with your coworkers, like previously before all of this, miscommunication can certainly happen in an email. So, if you're concerned about miscommunication or feeling conflict bubbling up or something like that, using video chat is going to be important, so you can still see each other and have a conversation about what's going on.
When it comes to dealing with coworkers, I've heard of some situations where part of the workforce still has to come in, like physically be there, and part is working from home. And I can't help but think there's going to be some tension caused by that situation. How do you deal with that?
I think it's around the messaging. So if you have, for example, one of my clients, they've got construction type guys, coming in and they have to go to work and do that, versus more of the admin staff is staying at home. I think you still have to talk to both sides about their mission critical tasks, and that this is all in the interest of their safety, that some are coming to work and some aren't. So it's around the messaging and sort of how you market to your employees around why this is the arrangement. And I think especially right now where we're not together at work, transparency is a big key that all leaders and managers and supervisors need to be focused on, because we can't see each other. So transparency is something we all need to up. We got to up our game.
That's not easy for a lot of people. I have a feeling, especially those higher up in an organization. How do you recommend they open up a little bit?
Yeah, it's hard. And I, even before all of this, I've always been saying to managers when I do training that whatever you're telling your employees or whatever amount of information you're giving, consider giving an extra 25%, because there's a lot of things you're probably not sharing with employees that you should share or could share. Obviously there's confidential things and stuff too, but again, we're not together. So I can't come to work and see that my, consultant is working. She's not there at her desk. So we have to both just be more forthcoming about what we're working on and what do we need from each other, because we can't just, hey, what are you doing today? What do you need from me? So we all have to put emphasis on communication more so than we were before.
Catherine, one of the things we've done with you, we've talked a lot about bullying in the workplace. Is this a situation we don't have to worry about now, or can it still happen when everyone's in their own homes and on their computers?
Actually, we're in a situation where it's going to get worse for a couple of reasons. One, aggressive behavior happens when people are stressed out. It's a reaction to stress, fight or flight. So that's fight. And just lots of research already before all of this happened, was finding that remote workers are more likely to be bullied because they're sort of hidden. It's easier to bully someone who's at home versus, yelling at you in a staff meeting in front of everyone, right?
Right.
So between the high anxiety and stress, and then just the fact that we're sort of hidden from each other, creates more opportunity for that to happen. So what managers need to be doing is having lots of one-on-one conversations via, video conference, to talk with each employee about how they're doing, what they need, really setting ground rules about how we're going to communicate with each other while we're all remote. So all those things that we sort of put by the wayside before, we've got to create ground rules around, how are you going to manage staff meetings, and just really creating some protocols around communication so that you can sort of protect people from that behavior. So setting ground rules and communicating often.
Can you go a little too far with the communication? Because I'm thinking about over micromanaging somebody because you can't see them doing their work. So maybe you look too closely, somebody's not pulling their weight. Like, how do you make sure people are doing their work and doing what they need to be doing without making them feel like they're under a microscope, which with all this stress, it's only going to make people feel worse?
Yeah, that's a great question. Everything in moderation, right? And, I hate to say, well, previous to this, hopefully you had good relationships with your staff, because that is going to serve you well right now. If you were already a great manager and people appreciated you and what you had to give. In terms of micromanaging, I think, again, if you're at the very least having phone call or not phone calls, video chats with your staff at least once a day, which is a fair request, that I don't think anybody would feel like that's micromanaging. And just having a conversation around, here's what I need you to accomplish today, or what are your goals for today? And then making sure that those are accomplished. So the next day, hey, did you accomplish everything you were supposed to do the day before? And if not, why not? What do you need from me? So all of those same types of conversations you should have been having already. Maybe you're having them more frequently now. And it's about the little steps. So where before I might have said, hey, Jennifer, let's have you work on this project and give it to me in a month. Now it's more like, hey, Jennifer, where are you at this project? What are you going to do today around the project, so that it's unfolding little by little, simply because I can't see you, or, we're not here together in the office, kind of a thing. But talk to your employees about what they need. Some may feel like once a day is too much, or some might feel like I need you twice a day. So again, just talking about how are we going to communicate right now. And the word for that is meta communication. Communication about communication. That's meta communication. And I guess that's the tip I find myself that I keep going back to here as we're talking.
So, unfortunately, it's all not going to be easy. And there might be a situation where you might even have to let somebody go if they're not pulling, their weight. How do you do that in a situation like this? You're not in person, you're doing it virtually. Do you have any suggestions or tips for managers who might find them facing that?
Yeah, that's a great question. Still, you got to look at the rules and make sure you're compliant with how you're letting this person go. Follow some basic best practices, like maybe preparing an outline of what you're going to say during that conversation, and making sure that you're treating them with respect and dignity as you let them go. I think even more so, that's important right now, to let them know you understand how stressful this is going to be for them, but here's the deal. you're going to have to figure out how to get the company property from them, right? So it may be that they, you send them a FedEx account that they can use to mail it all back to you. So figuring out a game plan around property, and that face-to-face is going to be uber important as much as you can do as well. So definitely not calling somebody, but doing it over a video chat. So those are kind of the main tips. It's not going to be easy. I don't think there's really a right answer, but following those best practices that we should already be following is going to be key.
Well, hopefully there won't be too many people out there having to go through that. We can cross our fingers for that. Catherine, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you.
All right, do me a favor, give everybody your website and let them know how you can help them if they need you.
Yeah, so we are at civilitypartners.com. We're a full service HR consulting firm, everything from helping you figure out some of these little ins and outs of where we're at, all the way up to culture, and helping organizations create positive work environments. And I'll say right now, with everybody on edge, your culture is probably going by the wayside. It's probably not something you're focused on right now. The best piece of advice I can give you is don't let that happen. Continue to focus on your core values. Continue to focus on your culture, because you're going to need a good culture when everybody's back at work. So the more you can lean on that now, the better. But we're here if you find yourself needing some help with building a better culture. So thank you again for having me.
Absolutely. It's great to see you. This virtual thing is really nice. I get to see your face instead of just your voice over the phone. All right, Catherine, take care. Stay healthy. We'll talk to you soon.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.